Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for the opportunity to come and speak to you. Today, as we announce our interims, the timing couldn't have been better. And as you heard, believe it or not, we do view a drop in profits as a success story because we are currently measuring our success in units of volume. The volume battle is on the high street, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But just to put me into context, my role at Sainsbury's is I head up the technical team within fresh foods, and I also look after the agriculture team. So that spans meat, fish, poultry, bakery, produce, our further processed meals, and our in-store counters. And my remit is very much looking out along our supply chains right back to field. I have a wonderful job and a great team, and I'll talk to you about some of the challenges we face. I wanted to start by highlighting what our agricultural strategy is. The agricultural strategy that we've set at Sainsbury's is 5 years old, but still enduring. I hope you would agree. The key words highlighted there that I'd like to draw your attention to is our role is to unlock value, sustaining competitive advantage, and protecting the brand, but ensuring we deliver our values. Agriculture as a central team within our organisation, and indeed within many organisations, have historically been viewed perhaps as sort of tree huggers or animal lovers, whereas actually I would argue we're a team of very passionate people that believe we can effect real change and unlock value from within. And the challenging environment we find ourselves in now means that the knowledge and capability that my team has never been in greater demand. The reason for that being is that we believe that we can unlock value by taking a much longer term view. So no longer is negotiating at the coalface an appropriate approach. Looking right back down to the chain with a longer term perspective is the way we believe we can truly deliver a sustainable business whilst unlocking those values. Looking at our values, this is our overarching business strategy. And you can imagine that me and my team are very heartened to see that absolutely at the heart of Sainsbury's strategy are our values. We often use the term that we believe our values make us different and set us apart from the competition. And in retail, a highly competitive market, you can imagine just how important it is that you clearly set yourself apart from the competition. We have 161,000 employees. We have over 2,000 supply sites, 1,200 stores across the United Kingdom, and have 24 million customers a week. And that number of customers is ticking up every week. So again, you can see ensuring we do the right thing in the right way, but also whilst building a profitable, sustainable business is absolutely key. So what do we need to do with the agricultural sector to unlock those opportunities and ensure that we do continue to fare well in these very challenging times? At the top of our agenda is our farmer, grower and development groups. We work in close partnership with our farmer and grower development groups, and those are representative groups that represent the view of those supply chains and ensure that what we do is clearly aligned with the principles and challenges that those supply chains face. We don't always get it right, and we haven't nailed a solid strategy with each one of those supply chains, but all of them are in active and constantly evolving development. And I'll paint a picture of what some of those look like. We have a farm performance initiative. We measure more than any other retailer. In fact, we measure more than anyone else. We think we've got one of the biggest agricultural databases perhaps in Europe. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But we publish that performance for our farmers to see. Each of them receives a scorecard so they can see how they perform versus their competitive set. And we're constantly working in partnership with them to drive performance and drive yield and drive profitability for everyone in the chain. We have an agriculture and horticulture strategy that applies to each one of those value chains. And absolutely at the heart of it is a research and development programme. The primary focus of that in many of those value chains is to ensure we constantly build our position and commitment to British. 5 years ago, we published a commitment to double the amount of British produce we sell. That has proven to be enormously challenging and actually very costly. However, it is a position that we believe is absolutely core to our business values, but does require research and development and constant investment to ensure we remain competitive. And finally, we are constantly looking for ways to communicate our message, primarily more to our farmers. We're not great out on the speaking circuit. I'm not someone I hope that you would see that often, because actually our priority focus is in-house, delivering the strategy and speaking out to our farmers and growers. We showcase our position once a year at our annual farming conference, and I believe that many of you in the room have attended in the past, or indeed are invited this year. This just paints a very vivid picture of the fact that we are a UK retailer, stores across the United Kingdom, and a supply base that spans the entire British Isles. So not only do we have farming and growing communities across the UK, we have colleague communities across the UK, and we are now working more proactively to build those communities to unlock strategic competitive advantage, especially in the area of biodiversity, which I'll talk to you about later. Some of the threats and challenges that we see is we recognise politics plays a big part in our business, and the new government is certainly moving at pace, launching lots and lots of new initiatives that we believe will have a considerable impact on our business. The marketplace is very dynamic. You'll see that from our performance today. And in addition, we have constantly got to change our approach to ensure that we remain true to our values, deliver our strategy, but are dynamic in the same way that the marketplace is. So, what's on our radar in terms of the immediate political climate? The DEFRA 25-year Food and Farming Plan is in development, and indeed we've endeavoured to play an active role in listening and participating and offering our view. And indeed we are endeavouring to revise our Food and Farming Plan to align as closely as we can to deliver those aims and goals where it is strategically aligned with our business. We are aware of all of the work that BIS are doing to drive growth, and indeed that applies right through our value chain. But equally, we always have to stand in the shoes of the customer. So whilst we're right at the end of the chain, the person right at the end of the chain is our customer. And our customer affects an awful lot of what we do. And indeed, then legislation, and certainly the Department of Health's work on obesity, is very pertinent to the views of our customers, but also to the performance of our business. We take the fact that we have 24 million customers a week very seriously. We take the fact that we feed whole households for whole generations very seriously, and that we can have a considerable impact on the health and well-being of those households if we make the right decisions at the right time and design our products appropriately. So I guess I'm trying to paint a picture of the fact that we are balancing all of those agendas to ensure that what ends up in the customer's basket reflects all of those, meets all of those challenges. So the changing marketplace. This is just one of many stats, but I hope that this paints a picture to you of how things have changed very dramatically over the last few years. So you can see that retail followed a very, very set pattern between 1992 and 2012, one of lovely, steady, sustained growth, which everybody enjoyed. Almost, we look back, far too easily. And then, lo and behold, along came the discounters and completely changed the dynamics, alongside an environmental and economic climate that disrupted customer behaviour, and we believe has changed behaviour forever. We reckon we've seen about £1.4 billion worth of value drop entirely out of the UK retail market, possibly never to return. Customers are shopping in a more savvy way. In fact, everyone's shopping in a more savvy way. This isn't just people on a budget that are choosing to visit the discounters, it's everyone. Everyone loves a great deal, everyone loves a great bargain, but in addition, everyone wants great value for money. So we are having to move at pace to meet the demands and change in those markets. In addition, it is interesting to see that whilst customers are shopping around, in a number of those retailers, they are still choosing to trade up. So they're being savvy in order to spend more on things that they enjoy. They're being savvy in order to spend more time with their family, spend more time eating out, and spend more time on leisure activities. So that money, and when they've got more money in their pocket, it's not being spent on a basket of food in a supermarket, we believe. So what does that mean we need to do? It means we need to be far smarter about how we approach our buying and purchasing strategy. So no longer can we just rely on negotiating at the coalface. We use an internal term, value chain analysis, one that management consultants are very keen on, but we look right back through the value chain to look at where we can unlock competitive advantage for everyone in that chain. Our vision is to work with fewer, better suppliers in a more effective way, in much, much longer, more sustained partnerships, because we believe that is the way forward for everyone in the chain. What this slide tells us is that we know you can always get something cheaper somewhere. There is always a lower price for what you're buying somewhere in the world. But is that sustainable? And does that deliver great quality and great value to our customers in a way that they can rely upon day in, day out? We've recognised that's not the case, but we've also recognised that therefore working in close partnership with the agricultural supply chain and ensuring that we have that competency and capability within our business is absolutely key to our future success. Just one example, this is some work that we've done with our dairy supply chain. Our dairy development group was set up in 2007, and indeed we pay our dairy farmers on a cost production model. So all of our dairy farmers have their income protected, and it is based on cost of production that we measure. Every quarter we review feed, fuel and fertiliser prices, and that cost of production is altered according to the market value, those market prices. We have a small focus group now of very loyal dairy farmers, and have worked in partnership with them to see how we can unlock greater value from the chain. So that loyalty and long-term commitment means that we can instigate research and development and be brave and bold about the work that we do in partnership. The slide illustrates some of the opportunities that we've been able to unlock in partnership. All of the value that you see there has gone back to the farmers in that development group. We want to do more of that because it makes them loyal, it makes them efficient, and generates, we believe, greater quality and greater value for everyone in the chain. A little bit of an insight into the nuts and bolts of how we make that happen. So I talked about our farmer development group, the steering group that represents the interests of those 323 dairy farmers. We meet 4 times a year, and also we have business groups, technology groups and regular discussions. We had a Raising the Bar challenge a few months ago where we brought in external experts to challenge us on the approach that we were taking and to challenge our Dairy Development Group. And indeed, and fantastically, the Dairy Development Group team took the challenge and presented back to us their strategy to unlock further value through the chain by improving performance of the poorest performers and using the data. What you can see on the slide there are the scorecards that our farmers receive that shows them their data, their personal data, and their performance versus their competitive set. We don't see that. We see the data in an anonymised way, so we don't know who is performing well and who is performing badly, but the farmers get their individual data and choose to share it if they wish to. They also have access to the higher performing farms to see what they can do to drive efficiency and performance, and again we believe that drives greater value through the chain. Something a little bit more nebulous that I pulled as an example is the work that we're doing on biodiversity. Very, very difficult to say, if you do A, that will generate B, but we know it is the right thing to do. And we believe that if you achieve balance in an ecosystem, in the good years and the bad years, you are more likely to see a degree of consistency. This allows us also not just to tap into our farmer groups by species or by crop, but by geographical location, potentially in partnership with our stores in the local community that we're actively plugged into, and make a fundamental difference to the parts of the country where we not just source, but where we do business. Our farmers and growers are telling us often it's something that they want to do, but they're not quite sure how to get started. So I'd say we're in a position where we have a great policy, we have a pretty good strategy, but now we need to build the tools that enable our farmers and growers to actively participate in this mission. They don't have to do it. They do it by choice, but our ambition is that it will reach a day where this is just the way that we do business with each other because it's the right way to do business. And whilst it does not deliver immediate incremental value, we believe it will deliver long-term sustained value to our value chain and be meaningful to our customers. I can't believe I talked so long and not talked about our customers, but one of the other core elements of our strategy is our product and the quality of our product. And you see here an example of chicken. Chicken is one of our biggest selling proteins. It is an extremely important customer purchase, and often it is the first thing customers buy when they come into store and then build their whole shopping basket around it. The quality of chicken is absolutely key. If you look back at the historical standards that have been set that define what an A-grade chicken looks like, and you look at the chicken on the shelves in the UK now, there is an enormous difference. So what we are all selling is better than A grade. So the dynamics of the market have shifted. The customer is expecting more. And this is where our food technologists, our agricultural suppliers, and the farmers right back in the field are having to work extremely hard to deliver consistent, high-quality product to shelf. And you can see here on the left-hand side of the screen, that's our quality specifications that are set by one of our major suppliers at intake from their agricultural supply chain. And never before have we worked in such minute detail right back through the chain to ensure we deliver that consistent quality. The bar is constantly rising. Again, because the customers can shop wherever they like and are highly promiscuous and very, very choosy. And that extends as far as that's our poultry development group in store, that's our poultry buyer and our poultry technologist. Our poultry agriculture manager is also there in store, looking at product on shelf, walking in the shoes of the customer and understanding some of the challenges we face, but also with those farmers, identifying some of the opportunities. So you will see some significant changes in the way we present our poultry based on some of the challenges we got from the farmers that day. But equally, I hope that you'll see a continuing step change in the quality of our poultry based on the partnership we've built with those poultry farmers and suppliers. All of this then is underpinned with three key pillars: skills, data and research and development. I'll take data first because it's the most complicated one. As I said, we collect an enormous amount of data, and I've got to be honest with you, we set off on that data journey with the best of intentions. If we could measure it, boy did we measure it. So we've got a whole bank of knowledge and data. Some of it we use very smartly to drive efficiencies within our chain. Some of it we truly do not understand the value of yet. But we are working hard, certainly now that the Agritech strategy has launched the Agrimetrics Centre. We think there's huge opportunity for partnership there, for us to measure the performance of our value chains versus those in the rest of the market, but also to open up our data to drive greater efficiencies, not just within our business, but across UK PLC. It's not as straightforward as you might think. And all our farmers are used to be bored by data. Certainly we're not interested in carbon footprinting, but boy are they interested now in scorecards and efficiencies. But we are at the beginning of a journey that we think will take us quite some time to deliver. You can see here our very lofty aspiration and data vision, but actually the fundamental aspiration is to unlock competitive advantage, drive more efficient value chains, and have an improved product at the end of the day. So this isn't just about business efficiencies, this is about an improved customer experience at the end of the value chain. Skills and capability. All of our farmers and growers tell us that the big gap, the big worry is not enough people coming into the industry, not enough people finding the industry appealing or engaging, and actually therefore that skills gap will affect our overall performance as UK PLC and as Sainsbury's PLC. So we've launched three separate initiatives. We have a dedicated agriculture and horticulture graduate scheme, and in fact our first graduates graduated from that this year. So we are bringing young people no longer into our general graduate scheme, but working in partnership with our suppliers, building a very specialist targeted graduate scheme that we believe will deliver the next generation of bright professionals within the agriculture and horticultural industry. The guys that are coming through the scheme are truly exceptional. They've done some extremely exciting work. They are far more data savvy and numerate than any of the rest of us on the team. They certainly know how to use a computer better than any of the rest of us in the team. And they are very comfortable in wellies as they are on an Apple Mac. And we think that is very much the future of agriculture. Our Scholars programme launched last year at our farming conference and is focused on the subject of soil. And sorry I couldn't be here last night. We had our Soil Scholars dinner last night, and our Soil Scholars are gearing up to present the conclusions of their studies. And many of those soil scholars have told us that many of them are young and say they are the next generation of farmers and growers, want to do things differently, are aware of all the challenges we've heard about this morning, but are very acutely aware of the challenges their own business face, and are looking for tapping into academic and industry professionals to enable them to do a better job at grassroots level on farm. So a very exciting scheme that will continue. And finally, our apprenticeship scheme, which I think we've got a little bit more information on, which again now launched 2 years ago. We have 75 apprentices up and running and are looking to double that number in the very near future. And our apprentices work within the Sainsbury's agricultural supply chain, filling the skills gap for today and tomorrow, and are a very, very enthusiastic, upfront bunch of young people that again are driving some of our thinking and challenging us from the field right up to the office, to the factory, to the store. And finally, agricultural R&D. 5 years ago, we had very little R&D ongoing within the field of agriculture. We would have argued, well, you know, if you're a really, really proper scientist, you probably wouldn't work for a retailer. But actually what we found is that working for a retailer and being close to the customer and understanding those promiscuous vagaries of customer choice and demands, but also the pressure and emotion that exists within the purchase decision. 42% of Sainsbury's customers say health is front of mind when they make a purchase. But that can be choosing to buy an extremely healthy salad from Great Britain or choosing to buy a packet of Maltesers instead of a Mars bar. Health is very different to everyone. But ensuring that we meet those needs and those challenges, understand them in a way that we can plug into the research and development community to ensure that we direct and participate in research and development that is immediately commercially applicable and drives a real change in our product performance and value chain and performance has never been more important. So I guess I'm opening that up to you today to say, as an organisation, we are passionate about identifying opportunities to improve the performance of our value chain. We are passionate about filling that skills gap, and we are extremely interested in engaging in research and development that will enable us to unlock that value and opportunity together and deliver sustainable growth. That brings me back to where I started, and I hope I've taken you on a little bit of a whistle-stop tour. I apologise, but we've got a lot going on, of the routes that we are taking to deliver our agricultural strategy, and to reassure you that whilst the retail environment is hugely challenging, we are confident that we are seeing volume growth and footfall through our stores. So we are confident that whilst this is a long-term strategy, which is very courageous in a retail environment that can be very much day-to-day, that it will unlock value for those that choose to be our strategic partners for the long term. Thank you.